His stars twinkled in the night sky as they had for thousands of years. But on this night, something was different. Deep in the Mountain Research Center, alarms blared. Computer screens flashed red. Dr. Hana Kim rushed into the control room, her coffee spilling on her white lab coat. "What is it?" she asked, pushing her glasses up. Her assistant pointed at the main screen. "Look, these objects just appeared at the edge of our solar system. They're moving toward us." Dr. Kim looked at the data. Her eyes widened. The objects were huge, moving in formation, and definitely not natural. After years of searching the stars, for signs of life they had found something. Or rather, something had found them. "Contact the Global Space Agency right away," she ordered. 3 days later, Dr. Kim stood before the world leaders in an emergency meeting. The room was tense. On the large screen behind her, images of the strange ships moved slowly but steadily toward Earth. "We have been watching them for 72 hours, she explained in a calm voice. "They are ships, big ships, and they are coming here." A gray-haired man raised his hand. "Are they sending any messages?" Dr. Kim nodded. "Yes. My team has been working day and night to understand their language. It's unlike anything we've seen before, but we've made progress." She pressed a button, and strange sounds filled the room. The leaders looked at each other with worry. "We believe this is a standard greeting. It repeats every 6 hours, but there's more." She pressed another button, and a different sound played. "This message is much longer and more complex." "Have you translated it?" asked the woman representing North America. "Partially," Dr. Kim replied. "It seems to come from something called the Galactic Hegemony. From what we can tell, they are a group of different alien species who control large parts of our galaxy." The room grew even quieter. "The most troubling part," Dr. Kim continued, "is this section here." She played another clip. "We believe they are talking about processing Earth." "Processing? What does that mean?" someone asked. "Based on our translation, they see Earth as a resource. They have done this to other planets. They take the natural resources and the people too, as workers or worse." The room erupted in angry voices. The Secretary General banged his gavel. "Quiet, please. Dr. Kim, are you certain about this?" "As certain as we can be with an alien language," she replied. "But their actions match their words. They are sending smaller scout ships ahead of the main fleet. These scouts are scanning our planet right now." Images appeared on the screen showing smaller craft entering Earth's orbit. "What can we do?" asked another leader. "We don't have weapons that can fight spaceships." Dr. Kim took a deep breath. "Actually, we might have something. My team has been working on quantum technology for years. We've made breakthroughs that even we don't fully understand yet. One application is communications. We can send a message that will reach their entire fleet instantly." "And say what?" "Please don't hurt us," someone scoffed. "No," Dr. Kim said firmly. "We tell them we know who they are and what they want. We tell them we are ready to talk peacefully. But we also warn them that we will defend ourselves if attacked." "With what?" the defense minister asked. "That's the second application of our quantum technology," Dr. Kim said. "We've developed a theoretical weapon. It's untested against their technology, but our simulations suggest it could disrupt their ship's systems." After hours of debate, the leaders agreed. Earth would send a message of peace, but with a clear warning. That night, Dr. Kim and her team prepared the message. In the alien language they had worked so hard to understand, they crafted careful words. "People of the Galactic Hegemony, we welcome peaceful contact. We know of your intentions to process our world. We ask instead for cooperation and exchange. Be warned, we will defend our home if you choose war." Dr. Kim activated the quantum transmitter. The message would reach every ship in the Hegemony fleet instantly. In the main Hegemony ship, the Council gathered to hear this unexpected message from Earth. 7 different alien species sat around a large table. The message played, translated, into their common language. The large purple-skinned leader laughed first. Others joined in. "How amusing," he said, his translator converting his clicks and whistles to human language for the recording. "The little Earth creatures think they can fight us. They have discovered basic quantum theory," noted another council member, this one with multiple eyes on stalks. That is unexpected for their development level. It makes no difference, said the leader. We have processed 1,000 worlds. Some had technology far beyond Earth's. All fell before us. Should we respond to their message? Asked the smallest council member. No, the leader decided. We continue as planned. Prepare the processing ships. Earth will be like all the others, a footnote in our expansion. The council members nodded in agreement, still amused by the humans' brave message. Little did they know that back on Earth, Dr. Kim and military leaders were already preparing their defense. The warning had been sent. The hegemony had made their choice. Now Earth would show them their mistake. Commander Tay Park stood at the window of Earth Defense Headquarters, looking at the night sky. The stars no longer seemed friendly. Somewhere up there, the hegemony fleet was coming closer every day. As the former leader of Special Forces, he had fought many battles, but nothing like this. Commander, the world leaders are ready for your presentation, said his assistant. Park nodded and straightened his uniform. He walked into the large meeting room where screens showed the faces of leaders from around the world. Some looked scared, others looked angry, all looked worried. Ladies and gentlemen, Park began, we have studied the hegemony ships that are now orbiting Mars. They have set up a small base there to prepare for their attack on Earth. He showed them pictures of the alien base on the red planet. Strange metal buildings shone in the Martian sun. The good news is that we have found a weakness, Park continued. Dr. Kim's team has been working with my military scientists. Together, we have discovered something important about the hegemony's technology. Park pressed a button, and a 3D model appeared in the center of the room. It showed the energy shields that protected the alien ships. Their shields are strong against normal weapons, Park explained, but they have never seen our quantum technology. We believe we can break through their defenses. You believe? Asked one of the leaders. You're not sure? We need to test it, Park admitted, and I propose we do so in a way that sends a clear message to the hegemony. The room grew quiet. What do you mean? Asked the Secretary General. I suggest we target their Mars base, Park said firmly. It is unmanned, controlled by robots and computers. No lives will be lost, but it will show them we can hurt them. Arguments broke out immediately. Some leaders thought it was too dangerous to provoke the aliens. Others wanted to attack right away. After hours of debate, they voted. Park's plan was approved by a narrow margin. The next day, Park stood in the control room of the secret mountain base. Around him, soldiers and scientists prepared the quantum weapon. It looked simple, just a small silver device on a table, but it had taken years to develop. Target locked on the hegemony Mars base, reported a young officer. Park picked up a secure phone. Dr. Kim, are you ready with the message to send after the demonstration? Yes, came her voice through the speaker. My team has prepared a detailed analysis of their shield weaknesses, along with a final offer of peace. It's ready to transmit the moment the test is complete. Park took a deep breath. This was a gamble. If the weapon failed, Earth would look weak. If it worked, the hegemony might attack immediately out of anger. But they had no choice. The aliens needed to know that humans would not be easy prey. Begin the countdown, Park ordered. 10, 9, 8, the computer voice announced. On a large screen, they watched the Mars base. It sat quietly on the red surface, unaware of what was coming. 3, 2, 1, activate. The silver device hummed. Nothing seemed to happen in the room, but on the screen the Mars base began to shimmer. The quantum pulse traveled instantly across space, disrupting the very fabric of reality around the alien structure. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the base's shields flickered and died. Secondary explosions followed as systems failed. Within minutes, the entire base collapsed in on itself, leaving only a smoking crater on the Martian surface. The room erupted in cheers. The weapon had worked even better than they had hoped. Send the message now, Park ordered. Dr. Kim's team transmitted their prepared communication. It included detailed scans showing exactly how Earth had defeated the hegemony's supposedly impenetrable shields. It explained that humans had quantum technology that the hegemony had never encountered. The message ended with a final offer: leave Earth alone and find a way to coexist peacefully or face a war unlike any the hegemony had fought before. far. Away on the massive hegemony command ship, Emperor Kroll received the message. The Emperor's 6 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of extreme anger in his species. His scaled skin turned from green to dark purple. "They destroyed our Mars outpost," reported the ship's commander, "with a weapon we have never seen before. And they dare to send us this?" Emperor Kroll hissed, pointing at the data Earth had transmitted. "They analyze our technology and tell us how they defeated it. Then they offer peace?" The Emperor rose to his full height, towering over his officers. In 1,000 years of leading the hegemony, no species had ever been so bold or so insulting. "This will not stand," Emperor Kroll declared. "The humans think they can threaten us. They destroy one small outpost and believe they can dictate terms. They will learn what it means to defy the hegemony." He turned to his war council. "Prepare all ships. Cancel the standard processing plans. Earth will not be harvested. It will be an example to all who would resist us. Total war is now our only response." Back on Earth, Park received the hegemony's answer. It was short and clear. The full might of the Galactic Empire was now heading for Earth. The warning had failed. War was coming. The first hegemony ships entered Earth's orbit on a Tuesday morning. They came in a neat formation, thousands of giant warships that blocked out the sun in some places. People on Earth looked up and felt fear. This was not like movies where a few ships came. This was an army from space that filled the sky. Emperor Kroll watched from his command ship. "Begin the attack," he ordered. "Target their major cities first. Show no mercy." The hegemony ships fired their first shots. Bright beams of energy headed toward Earth, but instead of hitting cities, the beams hit invisible shields. The shields glowed blue for a second, then returned to being invisible. "What happened?" Emperor Kroll demanded. "The humans have somehow created planetary shields," an officer reported. "Our first attack failed. On Earth, Commander Park watched from the main defense center. The quantum shields are holding," he said. "Now it's our turn." He gave the signal, and all across the solar system, hidden human ships powered up. These were not big like the alien ships. They were small and fast, and they had been hiding behind moons, inside asteroid belts, and near the rings of Saturn. "All ships attack as planned," Park ordered. "Remember your training." Captain Su Li sat in the pilot seat of her small attack ship, the Tiger. Around her, 4 crew members prepared for battle. They had been hiding in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter for weeks. "Tiger team ready," she reported. "Beginning Operation Mousetrap." Her ship and 20 others suddenly appeared from among the asteroids. They were using new cloaking technology that made them invisible until they attacked. The small fleet raced toward a group of hegemony ships that had separated from the main fleet. "They're so big," said Lee's co-pilot. "Each one is the size of a city." "Size doesn't always win," Lee replied. "Ready the quantum disruptors." The human ships fired small devices that attached to the hulls of the hegemony vessels. The devices activated, creating small holes in the alien shields. Through these holes, the human ships fired precision weapons. "Target their engine systems," Lee ordered. The Tiger and other ships hit the same spots on the biggest hegemony cruiser. Explosions bloomed in space. The alien ship began to drift. "It's working," someone shouted, but the hegemony ships were fighting back. Energy beams cut through space. 3 human ships exploded into bright balls of fire. "Stay focused," Lee said, though her heart ached for her friends. "We need to board that cruiser now." The Tiger flew closer to the damaged hegemony ship. Lee and her team put on spacesuits. This was the most dangerous part of their mission. They had to capture the alien ship and get information from its computers. "Ready the boarding pods," Lee ordered. Small pods shot from the Tiger and attached to the hull of the alien ship. Lee and her team cut through the metal and entered the massive cruiser. Inside, they faced alien guards. The fight was quick but difficult. The aliens were strong, but Lee's team had trained for this. They used special stun weapons that worked on the alien biology. After 20 minutes of fighting through corridors, they reached the ship's control room. More guards protected it, but Lee's team was determined. They fought their way in and secured the bridge. "Begin the data transfer," Lee ordered once they controlled the ship's computers. Her tech expert connected a human device to the alien computer. "This will take 10 minutes," he said. "We may not have 10 minutes, Lee replied as alarms sounded throughout the ship. "Work fast." Similar battles were happening all across the solar system. Human ships appeared from hiding places, attacked quickly, then disappeared again. They couldn't win in direct battles, but they could cause damage and confusion. Back on Earth, Dr. Kim and other important scientists were being moved to secret bases on the Moon, on Mars, and inside asteroids. Military leaders went too. If Earth fell, humanity would continue to fight. In his command ship, Emperor Kroll was angry. Reports showed that the first wave of the attack was failing. 30 hegemony ships had been damaged or destroyed. One was captured. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "They are primitives. They are using tactics we have never seen," an officer explained. "They hide, then attack from unexpected places. Their quantum weapons can break through our shields." "It doesn't matter," the Emperor said. "Call in the second wave, all ships. We will crush them with numbers." On the captured cruiser, Lee's team finished downloading the alien battle plans. They escaped in their pods just as more hegemony ships arrived to recapture the vessel. "We got what we needed," Lee reported to Commander Park as her ship raced back to a hidden base in the asteroid belt. "We know their attack plans, their ship locations, and their communication codes." Park nodded on the video screen. "Good work, Captain, but hurry back. Our sensors show the second hegemony wave is arriving. Thousands more ships. This was just the beginning." Lee looked out her ship's window. In the distance, she could see new lights appearing as more hegemony warships arrived from deep space. The first battle had gone better than expected, but the real test was still to come. Dr. Kim sat in her lab deep inside the asteroid base. For 2 weeks, she had studied the data Captain Lee's team took from the captured hegemony ship. Her eyes were red from lack of sleep, but she didn't stop working. Earth was losing the war. The second wave of alien ships had destroyed many of Earth's defenses. Time was running out. "Dr. Kim, you need to rest," said her assistant, offering a cup of coffee. Kim shook her head. "Not yet. I'm close to something." She pointed at her screen where strange patterns flashed. "Look at their communication system. There's something odd about it." The assistant looked but didn't understand. "What do you mean?" "The hegemony ships all talk to each other using standard signal waves, like old radio but more advanced," Kim explained. "They've never developed quantum communication." "Why does that matter?" the assistant asked. Kim's eyes lit up with excitement. "It matters because it means they have a weakness, a big one." She called for an emergency meeting with Commander Park. 2 hours later, they sat together looking at Kim's findings. "You're saying we can disrupt their entire communication network?" Park asked. "More than that," Kim replied. "We can create a cascade effect. If we place quantum entanglement disruptors in the right places, we can make their ships attack each other. Their computers will get confused about which ships are friends and which are enemies." Park thought for a moment. "How many of these devices can you make?" "With the resources we have left, maybe 300, Kim said. "That's not enough," Park said, looking at the map showing thousands of hegemony ships. "They still outnumber us 10 to 1. "We don't need to hit every ship," Kim explained. "Just the command ships. If we hit those, the effect will spread." Park nodded slowly. "We'll need small, fast ships to place the devices. Volunteer missions, very dangerous." "I know," Kim said quietly, "but it's our last chance." They called the plan Operation Scattered Thunder. For the next 3 days, Kim's team worked non-stop to build the disruptors, while Park selected pilots for the mission. They needed the best, people who could fly close to enemy ships without being detected. Captain Lee volunteered immediately. "My team knows their ship layouts better than anyone," she said. "We have to go." The day of the operation arrived. In a large hangar, hidden on the far side of the Moon, 300 small ships prepared for launch. Each carried a quantum entanglement disruptor, a small device that looked simple but contained Earth's most advanced technology. Commander Park addressed the pilots. "You all know the mission. Fly to your assigned targets. Place the disruptors on the hull near their communication arrays, activate them. Then get out fast. If this works, we create confusion in their fleet. If it doesn't..." He didn't finish the sentence. Everyone knew what failure meant. Captain Lee climbed into her ship. This time she flew alone. Her target was deep in enemy territory, a major command ship directing hundreds of others. "All ships, launch now," Park ordered. 300 ships shot out from the lunar base, immediately activating their cloaking technology. They spread out, each heading for a different target. Lee flew her ship carefully through the massive hegemony fleet. Giant enemy ships passed by, not seeing her small vessel. She reached her target, a huge command ship shaped like a pointed star. "Beginning approach," she reported quietly. No detection yet. She brought her ship close to the hull of the alien vessel. Using mechanical arms, she placed the disruptor against the ship's communication array. The device attached and began to glow with a soft blue light. "Disruptor placed and active," she reported. "Retreating now." All across the hegemony fleet, similar scenes played out. Human ships approached, placed their devices, and retreated. Some were spotted and destroyed, but most succeeded. In the Earth Defense Headquarters, Dr. Kim and Commander Park watched the operation unfold on a large screen. 267 disruptors successfully placed, an officer reported. "That's almost 90%. "Activate them all now," Park ordered. Kim pressed a button. All the disruptors activated at once. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then on the screen they saw hegemony ships begin to move strangely. Some fired weapons at nearby alien ships. Others changed course suddenly, crashing into each other. Communication signals became jumbled as the quantum disruption spread through their network. "It's working," Kim said, her voice filled with hope for the first time in weeks. In his command ship, Emperor Kroll watched in horror as his fleet fell into chaos. "What is happening?" he demanded. "Our ships are receiving conflicting orders," an officer explained, panic in his voice. "Some ships think other hegemony vessels are human ships. They're attacking each other." "Stop this," the Emperor shouted. "Override all ship computers." "We can't," the officer said. "The system isn't responding." Emperor Kroll stood up, his massive form shaking with rage. This could not be happening. The mighty hegemony defeated by tricks and technology from a primitive planet. "Prepare my personal battlecruiser," he ordered. "Gather my elite guard. I will lead the final assault myself." "But Emperor," the officer protested, "it's too dangerous." "I have conquered 1,000 worlds," Kroll said, his voice dangerous and low. "I will not be defeated by these humans. We attack Earth directly. Now." Operation Scattered Thunder worked better than anyone had hoped. For 3 days, the hegemony fleet was in chaos. Ships fired on each other. Command systems failed. But Earth's forces were still too small and too weak to win completely. The quantum disruptors began to fail, and Emperor Kroll's elite guard ships, controlled manually without computer systems, pushed toward Earth. Commander Park stood in the last working defense center on the Moon. Most of Earth's shields had failed. Their weapons were almost gone. The room was quiet as everyone faced the truth. They had fought well, but they were losing. "New ships detected," called out a young officer suddenly. "Coming in from the outer system." Park looked up at the screen. More ships? Had the hegemony called in even more forces? "Are they hegemony ships?" he asked. The officer checked her instruments, then looked up with wide eyes. "No, sir. They're different. And they're attacking the hegemony rear guard," the screen showed. "Strange ships. Nothing like Earth's or the hegemony's. They fired on Kroll's forces with powerful weapons." "We're receiving a transmission from their lead ship," said another officer. "Put it through," Park ordered. The screen showed an alien face. It had green skin and 4 eyes. "People of Earth," the alien said in rough human language. "I am Captain Morrow of the Zentari. We were slaves of the hegemony for 300 years. We have watched your fight. You have shown it is possible to resist. Many slave worlds have rebelled. We come to help." Park could hardly believe it. After weeks of fighting, alone help had arrived. Not just the Zentari. The screen showed ships of many designs joining the attack on the hegemony. The slaves of the Empire had risen up. "Can you come to our base?" Park asked. "We need to coordinate our attack." 2 hours later, the lunar base was filled with aliens of different shapes and sizes. Some had tentacles, others had wings. All had been slaves of the hegemony, and all had decided to fight for freedom after seeing Earth's resistance. "We call ourselves the Free Systems Alliance," Captain Morrow explained. There are 12 species so far, with more joining. But we need to strike quickly, before the Emperor can regain control. How? Asked Park. His elite guard ships are still too strong. We have information about the Emperor's flagship, said a tall, thin alien with blue skin. It has a weakness in its rear shield system. They formed a plan. The combined fleet of humans and alien rebels would attack the Emperor's flagship directly. It would be dangerous, but it might end the war in one strike. Captain Lee volunteered to lead the first attack group. My ship is the fastest, she said. I can get close enough to damage their rear shields. The Free Systems Alliance fleet launched. Hundreds of ships from 12 different worlds, plus Earth's remaining forces. They headed straight for Emperor Kroll's massive flagship. The battle was fierce. Energy beams and explosions lit up space around Earth. The rebel fleet pushed forward, taking heavy losses but not stopping. Lee's ship raced ahead, dodging enemy fire. She aimed for the weak point in the flagship's shields, but heavy defensive fire blocked her path. I can't get through, she reported. The defensive line is too strong. Park's voice came through her speaker. Pull back, Captain, we'll find another way. Lee looked at her instruments. She saw the rebel fleet struggling. She thought about Earth, about her family there. She made her decision. No, sir, I can do this, but I won't be coming back. Before Park could respond, Lee pushed her ship's engines to maximum speed. She flew straight toward the heaviest concentration of enemy fire. As defensive weapons targeted her, other rebel ships found openings in the hegemony line. All ships focus fire where Captain Lee is creating an opening, Park ordered, his voice tight with emotion. Lee's ship took hit after hit. Systems failed. The hull cracked, but she kept flying, drawing enemy fire until her ship exploded in a bright flash of light. Through the gap she created, Park led the final assault team. Their ships docked with the Emperor's flagship. Soldiers from Earth fought alongside warriors from a dozen alien worlds. They pushed through the ship's corridors toward the command center. Emperor Kroll stood ready for them, surrounded by his guards. The fight was short but intense. In the end, Park himself placed restraints on the Emperor's 6 arms. Impossible, Kroll said. No one defeats the hegemony. Park looked him in his 6 eyes. First time for everything. With the Emperor captured, the hegemony forces surrendered or fled. The 1,000-year empire collapsed in days as slave worlds declared their independence. 1 year later, Dr. Kim stood before the First Galactic Congress. Representatives from 50 former hegemony worlds and colonies filled the great hall built in orbit around Earth. She looked at the incredible variety of beings, some with scales, some with fur, some with shapes humans had never imagined. Friends, she began, we gather today not to create a new empire but a new alliance. Earth did not win this war with superior weapons or numbers. We were always the smaller force. We won because we refused to surrender, refused to be slaves. And in doing so, we showed others they could do the same. She looked around at the hall. Our greatest strength was never our quantum technology. It was the human spirit, the determination to remain free, no matter the cost. That spirit inspired you to fight for your own freedom. Together we have created something the hegemony never could, a galaxy where all species stand as equals. The hall erupted in sounds of approval, clapping, clicking, humming, and other alien expressions of agreement. The Free Systems Alliance was born, with Earth not as its ruler but as its inspiration. In a quiet corner of the hall, Commander Park touched a small memorial, a star chart marking where Captain Lee had made her final flight. Because of her sacrifice, billions across the galaxy were now free.